single swaying light bulb illuminates a crude wooden stage. Beside it, a towering wooden cross looms over the gathering. A voice begins to speak. Hatred, fear, division. Then, a shotgun blast shatters the light bulb. Darkness. For one stunned heartbeat, silence. Then chaos. More gunfire, men shouting, fists colliding. The towering cross crashes into the mud. Klansmen scatter in every direction. Some disappear into the swamp. Others leave behind their wives, their cars, running for the woods as fast as they can. One wife becomes stranded in a ditch. Ironically, the very people the Ku Klux Klan had come to intimidate stopped to help her pull her car back onto the road. Within minutes, the rally is over. Not because of the police, not because the governor intervened, because the Lumbee people of North Carolina had decided that they'd had enough. The Klan had come expecting frightened victims. Instead, they found hunters, farmers, World War II veterans, neighbors. The Battle of Hayes Pond would become one of the most embarrassing defeats in Ku Klux Klan history. This is that story. Welcome back to the Underground Syllabus. To understand Catfish Cole's biggest mistake, you first have to understand Robeson County. Because Robeson County was unlike almost anywhere else in the American South. Most southern counties in the 1950s were built around a rigid racial divide. White and black. Robeson County was different. It was home to three large communities. White, black, and the Lumbee. The Lumbee had deep roots in the region, stretching back generations. Tightly connected and fiercely protective of their families, their land, and each other. Catfish Cole didn't understand any of that. James Catfish Cole wasn't just another Klansman. He was a showman. A self-promoting Klan leader from South Carolina. A traveling salesman of hate. He understood something almost as well as racism. Publicity. Every cross burning, every rally, every newspaper headline made him appear more powerful than he really was. Cole believed fear itself was a weapon. He believed a burning cross, a white robe, and a few dozen Klansmen could intimidate an entire community. Only 3 months earlier, Cole had already been driven off by armed black veterans in Monroe, North Carolina. Humiliated, he went looking for an easier victory. He looked toward Robeson County. He saw a community that challenged the South's rigid racial order. A place where white, black, and Lumbee families had lived alongside one another for generations. He publicly declared he would put what he called the Indians in their place. He dismissed the Lumbee as half-breeds. He believed fear alone could accomplish the job. He wanted cameras, newspapers, headlines. He expected another victory. Instead, he chose a community that refused to be intimidated. The campaign began days before the rally. January 13th. A burning cross appeared outside the home of a Lumbee woman in St. Paul's. Her crime? Dating a white man. The next night, another cross. This time outside the home of a Lumbee family in Lumberton, after they moved into a predominantly white neighborhood. Then Catfish Cole made his biggest mistake. He announced his plans publicly. He wanted cameras, headlines, a Ku Klux Klan rally, Saturday, January 18th, near Maxton. Cole predicted thousands of Klansmen would attend. He bragged he would put what he called the Indians in their place. Instead, he gave the Lumbee 5 days to prepare. 5 days. 5 days for the news to spread. 5 days for hunters, veterans, neighbors, and families to decide that they'd seen enough. When January 18th finally arrived, Catfish Cole expected thousands of Klansmen. Instead, he found something else entirely. When January 18th finally arrived, Catfish Cole expected thousands of Klansmen. Instead, only around 50 answered the call. The Lumbee came by the hundreds, nearly 500. Hunters, farmers, neighbors, many of them veterans of World War II. Cole still believed he controlled the night. He had a stage, a loudspeaker, a towering cross. He expected another carefully staged display of intimidation. What he didn't realize was that he had already lost. The Lumbee didn't line up in neat rows. They surrounded the rally, watching from the darkness, waiting. Then, a shotgun blast shattered the lone light bulb above the stage. Instantly, the Klan's carefully planned spectacle dissolved into confusion. Muzzle flashes lit the darkness. Men shouted. Some fought. Most ran. Within moments, the towering cross lay in the mud. Cars were abandoned. Robes were discarded. Klansmen disappeared into the woods, desperate to escape. One Klan wife slid into a ditch trying to flee. In one of history's great ironies, the very people the Klan had come to terrorize stopped to help her pull her car back onto the road. The rally was over almost as quickly as it had begun. Not because the police intervened, not because politicians stepped in, because an entire community had refused to be intimidated. That night, Catfish Cole didn't just lose a rally. He lost the image of invincibility the Ku Klux Klan depended on. By sunrise, the story had spread across North Carolina. James Catfish Cole had come to Robeson County expecting a victory. Instead, he had suffered one of the most embarrassing defeats in Ku Klux Klan history. The photographs told the story. Klansmen fleeing into the darkness, their rally in ruins, their towering cross lying in the mud. The image was impossible to ignore. Not long afterward, Cole was convicted of inciting a riot for his role in the confrontation. The man who had come to spread fear left Robeson County having become the story himself. But the Battle of Hayes Pond became more than the humiliation of one man. It became a symbol. A reminder that communities don't always have to surrender to intimidation. Sometimes, all it takes is refusing to be afraid. You know, I've seen the Ku Klux Klan more than once. Growing up in Western Kentucky, they weren't just something I read about in history books. They'd show up at courthouse rallies, roadside gatherings, parades, handing out flyers. Even as a kid, there was something deeply unsettling about them. Men hiding behind hoods, trying to project strength through fear. Years later, when I learned about the Battle of Hayes Pond, I couldn't help but smile. Because the Lumbee saw right through the illusion. They didn't see an unstoppable force. They saw bullies. Because on one cold January night in 1958, the Lumbee reminded the Ku Klux Klan that fear can cut both ways. Thanks for watching. I really enjoyed researching this story, and I hope you enjoyed hearing it. If you like this story, you're going to love the next one. Our next class stays right here in Appalachia. We'll travel into the coal fields of eastern Kentucky, where miners didn't just fight for better wages, they fought private armies, machine guns, evictions, and a system built to keep them in perpetual debt. It became known as Bloody Harlan, one of the most violent labor conflicts in American history, and a story that deserves to be remembered. I'll see you next class. I'm David Whitehead, and this has been the Underground Syllabus.